Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's the Netflix animated series Super Crooks on Netflix there. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos my vast video library pops up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you don't want to be notified, best thing to do is hit that bell down below, and YouTube won't notify you. Um, Otherwise, you can go over to suspendedfanimation.com, take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages as well. All right, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and do the non spoiler version of Super Crooks. So, what is this? So, it's an anime version of, I don't know if anyone saw Jupiter's Legacy when it came out, the live action Jupiter's Legacy. So this is in the same world, set in the same world. It's actually done by Mark Millar. It's the Millar world is what it's called. Um, and so this is actually the villain side of Jupiter's Legacy, if you will. And it focuses on a group of villains trying to do a heist, is what they're always looking for money is what's going on. And so it's a 13 episode animated series, and it's originally dubbed in Japanese, by the way. So they have the English dubbed version as well here on Netflix, and it's a lot better than Jupiter's Legacy. I'm just going to say that right now. Jupiter's Legacy was just horrible. It was god awful. This is better. It takes about, I would say, into about the second episode before things start moving along there and you start kind of jiving with what's going on. But yeah, it's this group of supervillains that are trying to make, of course, one big score so they don't have to do the supervillain thing anymore because superheroes are becoming more and more prolific, and they know it's just a matter of time before they end up in jail, the supermax, and uh, that's where they'll end up staying, of course, for the rest of their lives. So, of course, they don't want to do that. They just want to get rich and, have to and retire is pretty much what everyone wants to do. Get rich and retire. Hey, Mr. Roboto. Hey, Pen. So, is it worth your time? Yeah, it's worth your time. It's actually decently done. It's gory in parts too. I'll say that much, and it's inventive in others as well. So, Mark Millar is actually a pretty creative guy. He's done a lot of different things, and they always involve some kind of level of gore at some point too. And this does not disappoint. So, yeah. It was good stuff. Honestly, I enjoyed it. It didn't feel like a chore watching it or anything like that. It actually uh, went one episode into the other, and I don't even feel like there was any kind of like spinning of wheels or anything like that on any of this. And it's 13 episodes, like I said. I actually thought it was going to be 10 episodes, and then when I looked at the count, I'm like, oh, there's three more episodes. Cool. And one of the things I liked about it was that because I thought, they were going to rush things at that point at the 10 episode mark, and they didn't. They just kind of went through their story like they had done. Superheroes do exist in this. Like I said, Mr. Roboto, it's based off of Jupiter's Legacy. So yeah. So yeah, a decent show, is what it was. Um, Also, it's set in different places, so they have one they set in San Francisco, what else? Las Vegas. There's different places across the country that they set this, but a good majority of it takes place in San Francisco, which is kind of funny and made me laugh. It really did. So, with the non-spoiler version out of the way, we're gonna go to spoiler alerts. If you have not seen the series, go and watch it. You can come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section, and of course, I'm giving you enough time to pause, stuff like that. Yes. Okay. There we go. All right. Is it good enough for live action? This probably wouldn't work live action. It'd be way too fucking expensive. Given the amount of, like I said, gore. Um, there are some scenes like there are is it 2 heists in the air? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of plane stuff where they're on planes and they're doing heists in the air. It just wouldn't work, and there's fights in the air, things like that. Even with CGI and everything as it is, it's really hard to do. So, there's really I can't see this being a live action. As an animated series, it works perfectly. I think that's what Jupiter's Legacy was missing as well. They do have some of the characters from Jupiter's Legacy, part of the Union. They're there peripherally. So you have, you know, uh, what's his name? The main character, they have Brainwave in there. They had Lady Liberty, things of that nature in there, and so that was actually they're briefly in there, and they were actually still better characters than the live action counterparts. So it was actually really good. They did a good job. Um, I do, the Diesel brothers were actually just kind of they're essentially Wolverine is what they are, where they could just sever off body parts and keep going. And then of course they grow back and things like that, which I thought was pretty damn funny. So they were the ones that were the masochists of the group. The Ghost was actually pretty good too, just this guy who can phase through materials. And then, of course, the mentor, the guy, the Heat, who is the only one without superpowers. He just has these guns that were like furnace guns, and he's the old guy who was always setting up all these heists that they wanted to do. And it's essentially you can kind of get the feel of Ocean's 11, only without the well-oiled, the well-polished machinery of the way they work together, because these guys are all kind of thrown together, if you will, and so they had to work with each other's powers and stuff like that, and there's some mess ups and I mean, honestly, there's a lot of different things that happen to them. And of course, the other villain that they are dealing with that they're actually trying to steal from at some point is called the Bastard, who all he needs to do is be able to have the view of well, not even you really. He uses a gun sight in order to sight out who he's gonna kill, and then he makes their brains explode. So yeah, it was interesting characters. And then of course Casey, who is Johnny Bolt's girlfriend, and she can manipulate people's minds and make them hallucinate and see things. It's actually she's a very powerful telepath, yeah, telepath, I guess you could say. So there's actually a lot of good characters in all of this, and it was a decent story. It really was. I did like all of this, and it was a lot of fun. Um, and also just seeing the whole heist thing, and also there's the other stuff that's brought into it, the sci-fi elements, like they're going into the bastards castle, if you will, to go and do the big heist at the end there. And the heist is really just to get a briefcase. And inside the briefcase is if you ever saw Ultraviolet with Mila Jovovich, they have like another universe with inside the briefcase. So there's a room in there that has all the treasure that this guy has taken over the years and stuff like that. So all they need is the briefcase because it opens up into another warehouse inside the briefcase where all the treasure is, which I thought was interesting. And the guy also has power dampening devices throughout his castle. So you can't use your powers unless those things are turned off. And they got around that pretty cleverly as well. I thought they did a good job. And also having the bad guy working for the supermax for the government, if you will, to provide those power dampeners. So he's basically double dipping at that point. And also setting up this thing called the network where he was taking 30% of whatever any villain whatever job they did, he was taking 30% of their cut. So he was taking money from the villains as well as hosing them by dampening their powers within the prison by selling those power dampeners to the prison itself. So he was working both ends of this. So he truly was the bastard. I did like that. Yes, power dampeners do affect his powers as well, and that actually comes into the plot, because at one point, Casey, she ends up in the bastard's mind, but takes him to a different location, and that's when he realizes that he is being manipulated, is when he can use his powers in whatever dream world that he's in, and he shouldn't be able to in his house because of the power dampeners. He built the briefcase, Mr. Roboto. Yeah. And I do like that one of the Diesel brothers, they find out at the end, he is really a theoretical physicist. That's what he got his doctorate degree in. And with his share of the money, he ends up building a time machine, which I thought was pretty fucking funny. They did a good job of this. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, they have a character named Transit who's just this guy in this black bodysuit with different colored bars on him, but he can teleport. And he only says one word. It's yeah. And and the yeahs mean different things. So if you have the subtitles on, you actually see what he's saying instead of just the yeah. It was pretty funny. They did a good job. I mean, some of it is Japanese, don't get me wrong. You can tell there's there's some Japanese it's anime, of course. So there's some parts of it where I was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, okay, that's anime-ish." But it was few and far in between. And like I said, it's a decent a decent series. And hopefully this one actually gets a second season to it. And supposedly it does follow the comic fairly. I mean, it's only the first 4 issues, I believe, of the comic. Um, so yeah, it follows all of those. So if you're interested, go out and buy the comic as well, and you can read the comic version of it as well as see the anime version of it here. So yes, it is worth your time. Give it a shot, see what you think, and you can comment down below in the comment section about that. That's what it came from, Mr. Roboto. It came from comics. So, what else do I have going on this week? Well, funny you should ask. Tomorrow is going to be the new episode of Hawkeye. That's right, episode 3 of Hawkeye. Got that. Thursday I'll be off. Friday will be a new episode of The Wheel of Time. That's episode 4 of The Wheel of Time. Saturday is going to be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the weekend and genre stuff you guys want to talk about. We talk about it. Sunday I'm off. Monday will be another episode of Spoiler Alert, and hopefully there's going to be something to talk about. I don't know. And let's see, next Tuesday, we wrap back around again to another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. So we'll find out. Yes, me too, Pen. Me too. So yeah, and tomorrow we move right into the final month of the year, too. December 1st is tomorrow. Going by fast already. So, all right. Thank you to everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can't, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you don't want to be notified of when I come on live, basically what you want to do is hit that bell down below there, and YouTube won't notify you when I come on live. So the best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there and all the links to my pages on there as well. And with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow for Hawkeye. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have the Praetorian come down and kick your ass up sideways, backways, frontways, all kinds of stuff, and put you in the Supermax prison because you tried using your powers to steal some stuff, which you shouldn't be doing in the first place. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get those flu shots as well, and stay safe out there. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night. Good night.